For thousands of years, Peru has proven to be a nation of unimaginable wealth. This wealth of natural resources, mathematical and scientific sophistication is a legacy left by Peru's former inhabitants. Most notably, the powerful Incan Empire has left a lasting influence on the region today. Located in the western part of the continent, Peru shares borders with Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil, Bolivia, and Chile. It is the third largest country in South America and one of the 20 largest countries in the world. Divided into three main geographic regions, spanning a coastal region, an area of highlands, and a jungle, Peru is as physically impressive as it is culturally. Attractions such as Machu Picchu, Lake Titicaca, and the Coricancha Temple are just a few of the main attractions that help create a unique appeal for tourists.
Really, it has a big history, but this city is starting with the Indians at least 5,000–6,000 years ago. Later, we are going to have the Incas here. At the year 1533, going to arrive the Spanish with Francisco Pizarro, Diego de Almagro, and they are going to start the colonial season until 1968, which is the Peruvian really revolution under an army government with the president, soldier, Juan Velasco Alvarado. And now this is the reality of my Cusco city.
So you have a huge diversity in the country. For example, you have the jungle, the deserts, the mountains, the coast, and that's what I think makes Peru special.
Lima is a very modern, more European colonial type city compared to Cusco. Cusco is still entrenched in more of the Catholic religion and the Inca religion combined, and it's very much more of a religious center.
In the central area, most of the people work in minings. If you go to the south, it's basically the same. Mining is the most important thing. If you talk about the outside, the countryside of Cusco, we will say that the most important thing would be agriculture. If we talk about Lima, where I come from, most of the people work in banks. We have office everywhere, banks, all kind of shops. So basically, it's everything related with that we call business. If we talk about Cusco, for example, I could say that it would be maybe tourism.
Direct or indirect, 80% live from the tourism.
You arrive to Peru by plane, ship, by bus, and you are already paying taxes. You go to a hotel, restaurant, or a market, any place, you are leaving already your money. So tourist is really important.
We really need the tourists coming here and buying stuff from us to keep running this economy here. So it's important for us. It's our main clients.
Tourism represents the third largest source of foreign income after mining and fishing. It also provides the second largest source of employment, generating more than 500,000 jobs. Yet, despite the over 3 million tourists, modern Peruvian culture and politics is dictated by the over 30 million citizens, nearly 1/3 of whom reside in or around the capital of Lima. Though most speak Spanish or Quechua, the official languages of Peru, these residents are an ethnic amalgamation formed over thousands of years. They have come from many walks of life and represent a multitude of political and cultural ideas.
This is the Andean culture. I like our history, our background in the textile world. I'm so proud about the textile tradition, which was very interesting and intricate, and they used many techniques. The fineness of the textiles is what identifies the Peruvians. We have our own traditions. This is the main Inca capital, in our history, so many traditions from the Inca times and the Quechua world, the Inca culture, Andean world, you can find here. So most of what they have practiced in the Inca times, here we still practice.
My dad, he's a ceramic artist. My mom, she also do the work. This is special because my dad began from nothing, and that's how he create and mix all these different techniques from the pre-Columbians. So he created a new style. And I call it style because the film itself, Chicago, told us that we were doing was contemporary native art. So we have a label now. And also because many people start copying us. So we create a new economy around the valley. And we make, many people know this town because my dad, because of his art pieces.
There is a politic where preserve our culture because there is a Ministerio de Cultura where they learn when we are kids, they know how we preserve, for example, Machu Picchu. They have the plan, how we will teach it to the pupils, so they will improve for this kind of dynamic, how we preserve, for example, Machu Picchu.
Although Peru is a country with an abundance of natural resources and a vibrant culture, the nation is not without its struggles. Over half of the country lives in poverty, with the indigenous people being disproportionately prone to such impoverishment. Despite the government's efforts to improve the country's economy and infrastructure, these efforts have underscored ideological differences and cultural divides. The result has been a threefold increase in social conflict and an abject failure to address the growing concerns of the population.
A nivel del Perú hay bastante pobreza. Solamente se ayudan entre ricos nomás, en cambio se olvidan de los pobres.
Peruvian government, they work only for a small people who are the rich people in Peru. Would you like to think, please, 85–90% of Peruvians, it's very hard.
I am a very positive person and I always hope everything, but I don't think that we can break that gap because the people don't want to. The rich doesn't want to be less rich. The poor want to be richest, of course, but the rich ones know, and they will never allow the poor ones get rich.
Language barriers also coming, and they were not putting that much attention to the Quechua. It's more Spanish and maybe another language.
Actually, the Peruvian government is giving new teachers to try to teach my people to speak Spanish.
When I was growing up, I was born in the 60s, and my first language was Quechua until I started the first grade, which was 67, 68. All the classes were in Spanish. So you had to learn Spanish anyway. The second language, it was difficult.
The first generation that went to the capital, to Lima, they punish their kids if they speak Quechua. If you want to apply a job in a government building or in a private company, they won't get you the job if you speak Quechua.
We have teachers that never end their careers. When I sent my children to the school, I have never got teachers like an engineer, like an architect. They were just students. In all Peru, they are just students.
Los profesores deberían tener mejor capacidad en la educación y deberían haber más control en los profesores que cuando ingresan a enseñar a un colegio, presentar todos sus documentos y deben ser evaluados si tienen una buena capacidad intelectual.
We don't have, or most of our population didn't go to take some very good education because they live in some rural areas. And over there, probably the teachers, the structures, the buildings for the education are not so good.
They don't have the chance. If you are looking for students from the high mountains, communities, or smaller schools, they will never go to the university because education in Peru is very low. It's just not good. Right now we are going to have elections next Sunday, and there are many people going to vote for elections and they don't know how to sign. They have just to put the tampon of their finger on the paper, and that could be all.
The ongoing concerns of the Peruvian people are of particular interest during times of political change, such as this year's presidential election. Due to a law requiring all citizens to vote, the Peruvian people take the process of selecting a candidate seriously. As current President Ollanta Humala prepares to step down, voters remain divided over which of the political veterans running will best serve the interests of the people and work to address the numerous concerns of the population.
These elections are a little bit crazy because we were having I don't know if 16 persons trying to run for being a president.
Hay muchos políticos que han hecho algunas partes en el Perú. Han trabajado en algunos aspectos bien, pero en otras cosas nunca han realizado. ¿Por qué? Porque la política, lamentablemente, la política peruana es muy sucia. Porque mayormente el político peruano no es consciente de la necesidad que tiene el pueblo peruano en general.
They are going looking to the communities, to the north, south, east, west, mountains, jungle, everywhere, offering wonderful ideas. But this is a big problem because when they arrive to the presidents, they never come back to help to the Indians, especially communities. They are forbidden, so they don't go anymore looking for them.
Sino que piensan mucho en recuperar el dinero que invirtieron en la política, porque para hacer política se necesitan muchos millones en publicidad, y para recuperar esos millones y todo lo que invirtieron es pensando siempre en sus bolsillos.
One of president that called Alberto Fujimori nowadays stay in the jail because for the corruption problems, no, in Peru. He killed many people about the terrorism, and also in the communities or in the Highlanders communities, they try to sterilize too many women for probably don't have many children. No?
Keiko is trying to get the presidents because everybody knows his father is in a jail. Of course, she doesn't like to let die his father in a jail from the Peruvian army.
This is really sad because a lot of Peruvians just don't care so much about history and what happened before, and just vote for her because she brings a lot of money to everyone and give, and that's really sad. Then after her, we have an American Peruvian guy that wants to become president. For me, he's not a good choice because he was involved before in many corruption stuff. He thinks more about money and neoliberalism than to the people.
The media also gets crazy on the streets. You can see the big letters with ugly faces everywhere, and it affects you. People get separated between friends and between people in general.
Left friends that I have a lot. I don't want to be like them, huh? And I am becoming to be more alone every day. I am fighting with my friends, and I don't care. I am alone.
Peru's future remains uncertain after no candidate received the required 50% majority vote in the first round of elections. Though the pool has been narrowed to the two frontrunners, Keiko Fujimori and Pedro Pablo Kuczynski, the winning candidate faces the challenge of representing the needs of a vast and varied populace with real concerns about the state of politics in their country. Regardless of the outcome of this election, the Peruvian people are hopeful that eventually the necessary changes will come.
This change in Peru, we are step by step becoming a global, something more global. We are not that isolated now, you know.
I try to do my part at home. I teach my baby how to be a good person, a good citizen, and I'm pretty sure that many other ones will do the same thing.
They want a better life for them and for their kids. So we begin to see our people change, to grow, to get married, to begin to build their homes.
We're gonna have more solutions for the future because it's actually what we need.